Welcome everybody to another weekly webinar. Welcome back to my old friends and some of the new friends. We got some new subscribers this week, so welcome to you guys. Let me just give you a quick rundown of how this works. It's really simple. I will present my analysis for this coming week, different classes of assets that we're going to run through. I will point out some things that I believe might be trading opportunities for the coming week. Again, this is my own analysis. It's not a suggestion to buy or sell any assets. Any trades you decide to take are at your own risk. I will pause in between assets. And we'll accept questions. You can just raise your hand. If you're in the queue, I'll call on you. You'll have your mic activated, and we can try and answer your questions. Other than that, let's have some fun. I think there's some really nice trading setups for the coming week, and they're actually not in the equity. So let's just take a look and see what's going on. Okay. That being said, let's begin our little analysis. Okay. So we're going to start on the weekly chart for ES down in the right-hand corner, and you can see that we've got an inverted hammer as far as the weekly candle is printing. We did have this little lower high, lower low situation, but then we double bottomed right down here, and now we're looking at the beginning of the bounce back after the double bottom. And what we're looking at is something that we should be taking out the top of this this wedge. I think we're going to try and make a run. I don't know if it's going to be this week or not, because there's some things on the lower time frame charts that are sort of telling me that we might be banging around inside the range that we're in for the next couple of days. So I'll show you what I mean in a second. Okay, let's just get rid of these and let's open up the chart for a second. All right, let me open up the daily chart for a sec here. And here's our daily. Let's get this out of the way. Good. Right. So daily ES is showing this. Right? You can see it nice and big. We were looking up here at the high that was placed, right? And then we had this nice lower high. We were real excited, and we were breaking down. Remember, we were selling short like crazy, and then this bottom held. Actually created a higher low, and that's when I started telling us, okay, that's it, it's over. We should be getting back, somewhere up here. I think we're going to actually eventually make new highs. I do not think we're taking this bottom out yet. So what we're seeing really is a back test into this demand zone, right? We got to the supply. This is the daily supply right here. We touched it Wednesday, and we reacted out of it, and we ended back in the daily demand. So if this bottom down here is going to hold, this zone that we're at needs to hold, right? Because if this level breaks down, what we're going to end up with is another lower high, right? And then we should be making a lower low. The bottom won't hold anymore. So if we're going to hold this demand zone, which I believe we are going to, then we should be turning around and making new highs after that. So while that's happening, it's a pretty big zone. I mean, you can see that, right? I think we're going to be chopping around in here for a couple of days before they actually, start to rally out of this. The sellers that are up here need to be overcome. It's pretty strong selling pressure. The lower time frames have already turned their trend around and they're pointing downwards. So it's going to take a day or two, I think, of sideways action to relieve the selling pressure that's going on. So I'm not very excited about longs or shorts for that matter. Oops, sorry about that. At this particular point in time for the equities, I think we're really more like if you're in a swing trade, just sit tight. If you're not and you're in like a day trading mode, I wouldn't be doing anything just yet. Okay. Take a look here on the daily. I'm sorry, on the 240. So we banged out over here. We ended up a day, really a full day, pretty much of dojis up here, right? And then we ended up selling off. We came to the first level of demand, small little bounce, made a lower high. We came down back into the next level of demand, which is where we're sitting, which is all the highs back here. A lot of price action over here, right? So there's a lot of banging around, I think, that we need to do before we get ready. Could we end up down here? Yeah, that's the bottom of the daily zone I just showed you. So very possible we could end up there. But I do believe we're going to end up creating this higher low over here and then creating, another pop up into the next level of daily supply. So it's just going to take a little time, and therefore it's really just sit and wait and see what happens over here before we, there isn't really a great risk to reward opportunity. You can see on this 60 chart, okay, there's the top up there a couple of days back. And then we started doing this, sell-off, a little blip over here, right around 2,700. There's some supply I pointed out on the smaller time frame. You can see that this like 5-6 day, whatever it was, or maybe more 10-day trend line broke down right over here. And we haven't back tested to it just yet, but there's a little bit of supply here. There's the other demand. I mean, right around here, I think we're going to be banging around inside this zone for a couple of days. I don't think we're really going anywhere just yet. I mean, obviously I could be wrong, but that's what the chart seems to say. What I would think is supposed to happen based on, price action is that we should be trying to relieve the selling pressure that's going on before we continue up. When will I say that I'm wrong? If we start breaking down and that zone of the daily chart doesn't hold, the demand zone that I pointed out earlier doesn't hold, then we're in trouble. You can see the 15 is clearly selling pressure. There's a couple levels of demand underneath us, and there's just all this, bang around stuff. This is all smaller time frame trades. You want to take a day trade, in either direction, for a couple of hours or something like that. There might be some trading opportunities, but that's stuff we have to talk about when the market's open. But currently, there isn't really a great opportunity. I mean, we're sitting. There's the supply, there's the demand. We're right in the middle, and nothing going on. So for me right now, I have some swings running, but there's, as far as a day trading, perspective, there's just not much to do right now. Okay? That's what ES is like. If you have a specific ES question, you can ask. Otherwise, I'm going to do NQ, and then you can just ask a, general equities question or NQ question or whatever. So it's obviously very, very similar. Again, with the inverted hammer on the weekly chart. Okay, this one sort of looks a little more dangerous, only because there's potential for this little head and shoulders going on over here on the daily chart. I'm going to open it up. There's a head here and maybe the shoulder here, and I'm going to show you what I think. Let me just open it up first. Actually, let's do this. Here we go, and see what I'm talking about. It looks head, shoulder, shoulder, right? And this piece is not there yet. Okay, and that's why I think this level over here at least needs to do that, right? We have this over here, which is this. We need to see this little blip here. I think we're going to get the bounce over here, at least back maybe to the top of the zone. I actually believe we're actually going to get through it eventually, but I'm pretty sure that that's why I'm saying that this level, I think, should hold. It's the same zone that's on ES. We're back to the daily demand. We hit the daily supply. We're back to daily demand. And if we're going to turn around, like I believe we should, and make new all-time highs, in the next few weeks, we need to hold this demand zone right here. This breaks, this will break down, and we'll end up somewhere down here. All right, so this is it. We're going to find out this week what the intentions are. And again, as I work through the lower time frames, you'll see that we're sort of stuck in between demand and supply as they figure out which way this thing they really want it to go. All right, the clear move part of this is over. And now we're sort of stuck in, in a hazy field of, okay, well, let's figure out which way we want to go. Take a look at the 240. You can see this resistance line is now turning into, right over here. And we broke above it. It was supposed to be support. It was for a little while, and it broke down again. So again, here's the 240 demand. You can see all the price action back here in this range. We should bounce out of that at least to get back to this, at least. All right, and then we'll see what happens over there. But right now, again, you can see that this is the range that we're talking about. This is really it, banging around. So if you're again small time frame stuff, there might be a couple of opportunities, but then again, that's just daily stuff and what's going on during the day. It's not something that we can really predict right now. We need to know where the market's going to open later and all that fun stuff. But I mean, look how tight the 60 is. I mean, this is ridiculous. Here's the demand. We're in it. Here's the supply. It's right there. What are we playing with? Obviously, if we can get above here, there's some room back this way. But if otherwise, we're just banging around. Look how tight it is. We're talking about nothing. It's 20 NQ points. It's a joke. So, and that's on the 60. We're right on top of the supply, right on top of the demand. We need to alleviate these zones. We need to see who's going to win this little battle that's going on over here before I can really figure out which way this is going to go next. All right. So again, not very excited about equity trades this week. Sorry, but I keep until I get this thing going a little better. So let's see. Here we go. Okay, that was our level 60 on the 15. Couple of levels again for smaller time frames. You can see again. Look how close we are to the demand right underneath us. There's the 15 supply right above us. So not anything that makes sense as far as a risk to reward as far as I'm concerned. So again, there's hands off on equities for now. All right, that's my equity analysis. If you have a question, I see there's somebody in the queue. Lena. What's going on, girl?
It's just a notice if you could have your recording on, Joe.
I do, darling. Yes.
Oh, you do?
Recording
Okay.
is on.
Sorry, Sunshine. I didn't see
Yep.
you do it.
No
okay,
problem.
Cool.
My
Thanks.
pleasure. You got it. Bye. Okay. If anyone else has a question, go ahead and ask. Otherwise, we're going to go into crude. I have 2 pending questions. Okay. 2 pending questions. Let's take a look. Let's see. We got, that was Lena. That's you again. We just did that one, I'm assuming. And then Keith. Hey, what's up, Keith? Can you hear me? No, I don't hear you. Keith?
I can keep here.
I got you.
Yeah.
I got you.
I was just wondering about your swing trades. Are they long swing trades?
Yeah. We've been long for about 2 weeks so far. Since I was in Punta Cana.
You didn't tell us about that.
Oh, sure I did. You weren't listening.
Oh, did you? Okay. I probably wasn't paying attention.
No problem.
So when you're swinging it like that, you don't. If you're in a long swing trade like that, you don't let these sort of pullbacks like we've had the last few days freak you out.
I have a rule for longer term swing trades, which is what I'm talking about. Things I'm going to hold for weeks at a time. So yeah, there's just once I get my risk off, I leave my stop alone for a minimum of 10 trading days before I start moving it. So yeah, I don't care about little pullbacks because that's part of my rules. I'll go over it maybe in the next in our next live trading session if you want me to show you the longer term swing rules. I'll be glad to do that.
Oh yeah. Just that I've chickened out of the swing trade I was in.
Just remind me next time before we get closer, and I'll put that on a list of things to do. Okay.
Thanks.
You got it. No problem. Anybody else before I move on to crude? No. Cool. Okay. Let's get to crude. All right. So first of all, I must admit that crude once again fooled me. I didn't think we were going to get this high. I was really expecting a sell-off a little bit before we got to the tippy top of the tippy top of the tippy top of our weekly, monthly, daily supply zone. That was fresh. I mean, that was a little bit more than I expected, but hey, crude usually does that, so it's my fault. I should have realized that they were just going to run everybody to the ground before they actually allow it to start selling off. So what I'm seeing here looks extremely bullish, and I'm going to say that we're actually going to sell off. I know that sounds crazy, but I'll show you why I'm going to say that. First of all, okay, this is fresh weekly supply. Top of a massive doji candle sitting in between this humongous move. Are you kidding me? Where the hell is the reaction? There's no way we're getting to 70. Impossible before we break down. It's not going to happen. Okay. So very nice, strong at the end of the day. And you know what? If anybody followed the tweet that I sent out from Trump starting to talk about OPEC, that should be a signal, a light bulb going off in your head. If you're watching the rig count at all-time highs, if you're watching our production increase, there's just no reason for this. The reason that it would start to rally, I mean, over the last week or so is because of the Middle East tension, and that's almost gone already from the news. It's not even in the freaking top 10 headlines. So, that's disappearing. Plus, we're going to start to wake up and realize that we've just got too much crap, and OPEC shooting their mouth off. I think their meeting is in June, so it's another month and change from now. So I'm pretty sure we're going to sell off this week. Okay, and nothing major, but down into, I would say, maybe like 63, 64, a couple of dollars down, something like that. I should have actually pointed out a couple of levels I'm going to point out to you, but I think we're just gone too much, too far. We could start to see on the lower time frames that I'm going to show you that we actually have a top that's been tested and confirmed. And I think we maybe pull back into, let's say, daily demand right here, something like that. Just back test into this little breakout area that we just did. Right, we back tested here, made a new high, so I think we end up somewhere over here. I'm reluctant to say we end up all the way at the bottom of the channel, which is very possible. But for now, I will say 60. Let's call it 65. Like $3 to the downside looking at this week. And I'll point that out on the lower time frames in a second. Crude, let's just look over the 240. Actually, before I get to the 60, I want to open the 240, take a look at this again. This is the same level, weekly, monthly, daily. It's 240 supply as well, right? We went right into the zone, sold off, and then we made a lower high, We got air all the way down to 6650, and this is where I think we're going to end up personally. I think we're going to end up popping this zone, maybe a lower high, and then, you know, a little head and shoulders down into this sucker. That's the anticipated move for this week, 65. All right, let's take a look down at the 60 chart, and you'll say why I'm saying that now. It's a little bit clearer, more clear at least on the lower time frames, that this is our 60 cyclical. Now, it's, again, every time frame that we've looked at so far is the same supply zone. It's the top of that weekly doji candle I showed you, right? And then we hit it, and we sell off, and then look at this green candle right here, this one, right? See how this was a demand zone, rally, base, rally. We come down in, we rally up, and we confirm the top with a lower high. And immediately we just, boom, we break through the zone. And then we end up in the next demand zone. And then we make another lower high. And we break the bottom again. And we end up in the next demand zone. And we rally up and we make another lower high. So there is selling pressure here. You can see it. It's very clear. Okay? And this is really strong demand. I mean, look at the tight doji over here. All we got out of that was, you know, back to the original supply zone, but again, a lower high and immediately breaking down. If there was more time in the day, we would have been through here. Just the day ran out of time. So I'm pretty sure we're going to be breaking down on crude. And again, my target for this week, 65. Oh, it looks like a little, there you go. It's a great spot. Take a look. There it is. All right. So looks like this little breakout area from these highs right over here. Look where it's coming in. 65. This is the zone I'm thinking we're going to get to this week. Right around 65. Right over here. This sucker. Okay, so we should see drop base, down into this thing. Okay, that's what we're looking for crude this week. And right now, you know, the 60 is, for me at least, I'm thinking we're looking at a downtrend over here. We could start taking shorts. I'll open up the 15 there for us. Okay, and, you know, so nothing great. I mean, I like the supply up here. If we get all the way back to 69, I don't know if we're going to see it. There's something really small over here. You know, it's like a 15 over here someplace, but I'd like to see this out of the way first. So, you know, where it is on the lower time frame just now is pretty much in the middle. I mean, you can see we're 50% dead center in between the supply and the demand. So, you know, we'll watch tomorrow, see which way it goes, and if there's something that, you know, makes sense, I'll send out a tweet. But overall direction for crude this week, down into 65. Okay. Anybody have a question? Go ahead. Otherwise, I'm going into gold, which is really clear. Mateen, what's up, man? Yes.
Joe, on
you have a question?
Yeah, on the 15-minute on crude, where you have the 67, 79, 67, 65 demand zone, even though that appears, you still keep it because it created a new one. You still have that zone.
So, okay, so, yeah, so the zone that I drew is actually this one. It's a new zone.
Okay, not
it happens to be this. There was a zone here, and it was pierced, you're right. But then look what happened over here, right? Notice that we rallied up here, and then we came back into this area. See the red candle? And then we made a new high. And then we made another new high.
Got it. Got it.
Good?
Thank you.
Okay. No problem. You got it. Okay. All right, cool. Next. If you're long gold, or you've got gold in your long-term portfolio, sorry to hear that for you, because we're done. Price has been confirmed as far as I'm concerned. We've tried multiple times to get into this supply or through the supply. Again, a pair of twins. Clearly here on the daily chart, we've got the lower high again, and then the massive sell-off. Take a look at the 240. It's very clear where this is going now, okay? I'm going to blow it up and show you what I mean. Take a look here, okay? This is our spike to the top, sell off into demand, rally up there at the lower high. Then we confirm the lower high on a smaller time frame. I'll show it to you on the 60 right there with a confirmation of that lower high. And then we start breaking down. Bang, 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 bang. Look what happened right here. Okay? We attempt to get back above the resistance, and then we get the engulfing candle, back-to-back engulfers. Bang. Engulfing, and then boom, we straight down. So there's like one or two zones over here, so on the smaller time frame, I'll show it to you, that should give us one more chance into the short. After that, we're going down to 1300. Okay, I would say this week, almost guaranteed we see 1320. I'm pretty sure we are going to see this zone down here as well. We're going to break underneath this over here. So our gold is in deep crap. Okay. looks like a disaster. Right? So they're going to start squeezing the shit out of these guys that are long, and they're in big, big trouble. Okay? There's our high. There's our lower high. There's the confirmation of the lower high. Right? And then we start breaking beautiful supply zone right here, 1350. If we get that, oh boy. Otherwise, this little blip nonsense over here should give us a back test into one of these supplies on the lower time frame. That'll give us a short entry, especially when this is out of the way. So now we're talking about, there's the 1320 I just mentioned. You can see that under 1330, there's just air. There's nothing here. Look, straight down into the zone. Okay, and that's the one that maybe we hold, maybe we don't. I'm not sure yet, but if that pops, we're at 1300. Okay, so definitely want to be short. Right where? Well, right now I'd say 1350, just because that's the best looking zone that's on there. But we'll have to see what happens as we make our way out of these, because when we make another lower low, there's going to be new supply zones over here that we can short. Right? You can see that there should be supply right here at 1340 when we break down out of this zone. So keep our eyes on that. I'll show it to you on the 15, but we are definitely want to short rallies into supply. Oh, there's the 1340. It is beautiful. Okay, very, very nice. You can see that it was a demand zone. It got popped over here. It got drop base dropped. It got tested a little bit, didn't get into the zone, and now we're selling off. So if we break the bottom again, this is it. That's the short. It's fantastic. Okay, that's the 1350 level. That's already on the chart. If we can get through this resistance area, I doubt it's going to happen. More likely that the entry is going to be right around here. Okay, that's what we're looking for. Short on gold. Okay, feel free to ask. All right, next. Okay, so I hope some of you took this freaking trade that I tweeted out early on. I think it was Friday, for nat gas, and I've been talking about it forever. And guess what? A massive move on Friday is just the beginning of the tip of the iceberg. Look down here. What is this? Holy shit. Look how much room is here. Okay? This is just the beginning of this massive, massive trade. Look up here. That's where we're going. Okay? So, right now, clearly last week was the engulfers, right? And you can see that the beginning this week candle tried to sell off into the bottom, couldn't do it. Okay, and what we got was just a back test, and then a massive, massive rejection of the lows down here. Right? Take a look at the daily chart. This was our little level over here. This rally-based rally came down into it over here, and then bang, massive push out, higher lows. This gives way. We're at 3 before we blink, and once that's gone, it's just massive move up coming for nat gas. And now it's been confirmed totally. Okay, so take a look over here on the 240. It looks like we're in a nice tight wedge. Here's our bottom. It's like a little flag, but we break out, sort of, top out over here, and then we dropped into this demand zone. The demand was right here, double bottomed out, and then bang, massive move, totally retraces all the sell-off, and we close inside the supply. So if you were not holding this over the weekend, which I probably most of you were not, I actually going to expect a little bit of a gap down on tonight, and it's going to be a buying opportunity. There's a really nice demand zone sitting right over here on the smaller time frame. I want to show it to you. If we gap down into that sucker, that's where you want to get it. It's going to make another higher low, and we're just going to take off. I would be surprised if we're not above 2.8 tomorrow. So nat gas is ready to go. It's taken enough time to get there, but it's here. And I just keep looking at this weekly chart, and I'm just smelling cash. Okay. Take a look here. You can see we're coming right into the supply of the 60. Right, there's our little double bottom. Right, there's the demand over here. And it's really down this thing over here, wicks against the wall, the outside. Then we created a new demand zone over here, and we've got one over here. This is the one I'm talking about. I think we're going to see this right here. Right? I think we're going to gap, or at least try to touch this level some point before tomorrow morning. And if that does happen, definitely want to think about buying this sucker right over here. It's really small. It's only 12 ticks as it is on the 60 chart. I'm going to go down into the 15. You can see it even better. If we hit this demand zone, I'm going to add on, but you might want to think about, if you've closed your longs, you might want to get in, or if you've not taken it yet, that's a pretty good spot to try it. Take a look over here on the 15. There you go. And massive, massive rejection. There's a beautiful little bottoming. This was the double tweet. I tweeted this thing, I think, out right over here. When we were down over here, it was like 8 ticks of risk and then just took off. This was the level I was talking about that we needed to clear in order for us to retrace the rest of this. And that's what happened on Friday. And we notice we get above the highs from where the price starts. And there's the supply that we're starting to come into. So we should see a little back test up here. We just made a new high, took out all this crap. This supply is fresh. It should do something enough to give us a chance to get into the trade. All right, so that's what we're looking for. A little pullback and longs around 2720 down to 2700. I would say is where you're looking to catch this for the next leg up. Target above 2.8. Okay, for now at least, and probably a lot more if we're going to sit on this thing for a really nice swing, and you're going to hold it for, I would say, in probably about 3 or 4 weeks. You'll see a wicked, wicked move starting now. Okay, that's that guess. If you have a question, go ahead. Quickly look at the dollar, what's going on this week. So the dollar had a really nice, strong close to the week. Started out a little weak, but notice the engulfing candle on the weekly chart. Again, we're in a long-term range over here, but this is looking like it's starting to make a hold and wants to maybe pop up. You can see here on the daily, we've made a higher low right over here, right? So take a look here. All right, we were working off this and pushing down, pushing down. This was a higher low here. We pushed up, made a lower high, right? But then we made a higher low, and now we're back to the zone. So that's going to give way. We're going to get through this, and probably all the way back at least to the top of 91. I would say is probably what we're looking at for this week. And obviously above that is just air. So the longer term target is really up here at 92 and change. Right? I think we're going to break this whole little bottoming pattern. Right? So dollar strength coming again. All right, and that's going to give us, obviously, what we're looking for, the euro, with a weakness coming on. The euro has been banging around for, I don't know, 3 months or so, right inside this range. You can see it here, all this price action. And now it's starting to show some weakness. Same idea. We have the lower high on the daily chart after we've rallied off the demand, pushed up, bang, 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 couple of days. There's the reversal over here, and then bang down into the demand. We should be seeing one more shot. This is the short of, I think, the week. There's 2 trades that I'm interested in this week. Not guess long if you're not in it, but this one looks fantastic for a short. And then there's an Aussie short I want to show you also. But if we bounce off this demand zone, which we are sitting on right now, this little daily demand zone, and we push up into this supply, oh boy, just hit the sell. That's what I'm going to do. All right, I'm not in this trade, and that's the one I'm waiting for. Take a look here. On the 60, we're already in a downtrend. You can see that we've confirmed the highs up here. There's our high. There's the demand that was sitting over here. Made lower high. We confirmed the topping here. We break down, and then drop base, drop base, drop base. Selling pressure kicks in. Selling, the one I'm looking for is this. If we get there, there is a supply zone here as well. This demand slightly pierced, but seems to work so far. So I just didn't clean up the chart yet. So I'm going to actually just adjust it a little bit and pull it down to the bottom of the wick, and I'll do that now. But there's 2 opportunities. The one that the 240 is this higher zone. There's no zone here on the 240. It's at 124. On this 60, it's this area. So we'll have to watch. You can see that that's where the prior lows were sitting. That's where the demand was over here. It's flipped into a supply zone. So we got a little close here, and therefore I'm thinking we might want to get through that. And this is where I'm going to be waiting with a set and forget. This is something that I would wait for, during the day, watch it react type of thing. If it starts selling off out of here, I would take it here from here as well. Okay. Let me just clean this up a little bit. So the demand got pierced slightly. We'll just fix it. This. That's that. Okay. All right, let's go look at the 15. So there are the levels, similar stuff. Okay. And again, this one was just pierced, but definitely worked after that. Okay. And there's supply here, here, and this is the bigger one up here. This one I kept on contemplating how to draw up here, but I think this is probably the best way to do it. Right around 124 and change, this whole section. This is that 6240 zone up here. And that's the one I would really like to catch if it comes there, and if not, we'll try it at the lower level. But I'm thinking we're going to see something really strong for the downside on the euro. target for the week. So let's go back there for a second. And what are we looking at? Well, take a look at the daily and tell me what happens when we break this zone. Where are we going? There's all air here, right to the 121. That's it. We're going right to this wick. That's where it's going. This level breaks here. Right? We see we're already starting to see a little reaction. If we catch the supply here, which is where I want to say 1-2 up here someplace, it's actually right here, 124, right? And then we push down. We're talking about 121.6, which is basically the wick over here. That's the target. Okay. That's what we're looking for Europe for this week. Shorts. Anybody got a question? Be my guest. Now's the time. Yen. So, yen was selling off. I think we're going to continue to move down. We're making lower highs, lower lows. The breakout over here on the weekly chart, I think, was a fake out. Up here, we're back into the range, and we're sitting inside this demand zone on the, the weekly chart. So there's another one underneath us over here. We're just chewing through, but there, you can see that on the daily, there's a little gap of air over here, right? We're working our way through this zone. I think the zone is actually done. We've just hit it and put in another lower high. The supply above is showing us that's actually control. We should break through this, and we end up over here at 9.2 is what I'm thinking we're going to see for the yen. I'll zoom out a little bit for us there. Okay, so yeah, there's 9.2. We're obviously in some demand, so we get a little bounce back again. This trend line over here should hold as far as the highs are concerned. So if we back test into any of these supply zones over here, there will be an opportunity to get short. The target is right here. We're going to get underneath this thing. There. Okay. I'm actually going to adjust the zone down a little bit. This is really the fresh part of the demand zone, starting right here. Okay, so we're not even down into there yet. So we've still got some time to ride that down. Let's take a look at the 60 chart. Yep. Well, that's pretty much a downtrend. Right? I'm very clear about that. But you can see the bounces into supply, and they keep on making new lows. So that's what we're going to anticipate. The next one is here. That's the next supply zone. After that, we got this one over here, and we're riding it down into 9.2 for shorts on the end. Okay. Questions? Go ahead. This is the next one that I really liked. First of all, you can notice that we're inside this weekly channel. We got pretty close to the bottom of the channel. We've printed twins with lower high on the weekly chart. And what's underneath us? Nothing. This is a double top now. This is the middle. Middle breaks. We go back to the point of origin. That's this. That's where it starts. This is where it ends. That's the target. So we're talking about, last week we were waiting to break out of this to the upside, and we just not even close to that happened. So there was some Aussie news or whatever, and we start selling off, and we confirmed the top up here. You can see that really clearly on the 240, and then we created this beautiful supply. Look at the demand that was there. Oh my gosh, tight doji. Fantastic. We come into demand. This is one sell off the top. We need a lower high. If we hit this, that's the short that you're looking for right here. It's not big. Look at the numbers. 16 ticks. Tiny. Okay. Very small for a 240 chart. Okay. Very tight, beautiful supply zone. Look at it. It's a nice doji. Look at this thing. Oh my God, it's beautiful. So that's the other trade of the week that I really like for the short. That's the Aussie short. We've already cleaned out a lot of crap underneath us. There's the demand that we're at. We get a nice little bounce back. This is the range. It's right over here someplace on this is a 60 chart. So I'll have to see which one is going to give it to us. But this is it, short all the way for the Aussie. Looking for it to break down into the air on the weekly chart. That's what I'm looking for. Our 15 has got a really nice little downtrend going. Again, you can see we have a bunch of air over here, so we're likely to get the bounce I'm looking for. And that's where I want the short, okay? Right over here. If we can get to this thing, Bam, that is as clean as you're going to see. Beautiful, beautiful short. Okay, that's the trade of the week, trade number 2. Okay, for me, I'm looking for that to get hit this week. Let's see if we can pick that up. All right, if anybody has questions, so now, otherwise I'm going up. Next. You guys are all quiet today. Okay. Pounds. That is a pretty ugly engulfing candle with a double top on the weekly chart with all kinds of room underneath us. So, yeah, well, we made a new high on the daily over here, pulling back into demand. We should see, if we're really going to sell off over here, right, into this air pocket, a bounce out of this zone that creates a lower high, because this is a new high. If we're going to turn over, we need a lower high first, which means that should give us a selling opportunity, right? The lower time frames have already turned trend. The daily has not yet. We landed in demand. There's the supply zone. It's right in front of us, right there. I don't think we're going to see this one. You can see already that we've already confirmed the top over here multiple times with the drop, base, drop, base, drop, base, drop. This supply zone is fresh. It's very strong supply. Cleared out all this price action, demand here. You could see there was a lot of things going on right there. We just went bang, 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 boom. Okay, so here we go. Little rally out of that. Supply short at 141. That's what we're looking for the pounds. The dollar's looking really strong this week. Currencies are all not looking strong at all. So that's why I'm saying that the equities, I think, this week is sort of sideways stuff, and the trades this week look to be in the currency markets. That's what I'm seeing this week. Fantastic opportunity over here if we get that far. Otherwise, that's the 141 and change. Right, this is 141 right here, so slightly above it on the 60. You can see where the top of the zone is. There's all kinds of air here. So should we break this supply, leave it alone until we get here. We'll take it long for that matter, but we'll have to see what it looks like. Clearly, this is in a downtrend. Lower highs, lower highs, lower lows, lower lows. So shorts are the way to go for pounds. And we should see a bounce. This is a very strong move down without too much back testing. So I'm pretty sure we're going to see an opportunity to get short here. We just got to wait, be patient for it to come to us. And when it does, get ready. Okay. So let's talk about a target. Where is the target for the pound this week? On the downside, well, underneath us, if we're going to catch it at 141, so, I don't know if we're going to get beyond really, the bottom of this zone. I'm not so sure if we can pop that just yet. Right? But if we're going to catch it up here someplace, so like we got like 200 ticks, it looks like over there. So pretty decent opportunity for pounds on the short. Okay, let's say bottom 1.4 approximately for a target for this week. Well, actually, I'll not take that back. Let's go back to the 240 and see that we actually hit 1.4 area over here. And if we create a lower high, this zone should break. So, yeah, it's still 139.50. It's the same thing. Right down there, that's the target. Okay, so same nonsense. Cool. That's pounds. Let's take a look at Canadian. Very ugly pair of twins on the weekly coming out of supply. This was a recent low, and we rolled over and looking like we made another lower high. So that's not good for Canadian. There is demand sitting over here. You can see it on the daily chart. It's right there. So, what happens now is the question, really. Right? Are we going to continue to sell off? Well, I'm thinking crude's going to get clocked this week, and the dollar is going to be strong. That's two negatives against Canadian. So I actually think we're going to sell off some more. Okay, so we have to look at this as now a lower high, which obviously it is. And, the question happens is, well, this is strong, pretty strong demand. So, okay, maybe we had a nice little pop out of that. So that should create some lower high again and then break down. I don't think we're going to have to slice right through this daily demand zone without something happening first, right? It was a breakout area. You can see it. We have a nice little bottom underneath here. We broke above it, and we couldn't get through the supply. We didn't even get to the supply, actually. We hit smaller times for supply. Coming back to the demand zone, it's daily demand. It should give us something. I think we fail somewhere over here, and then we break down. That's what I'm thinking is going to happen here. I'll take your question in a second, Ed. Take a look here. On the 60, we're obviously in a downtrend. Okay, we can see the lower highs and lower lows, and supply. We're sort of in the air here. We ran out of time on Friday, but we should be down here pretty soon, making this a shorting opportunity, or else, back over here where we took this, this is level on level, so I'm taking a look up here for the opportunity for the short. But I'm pretty sure we're not getting through this zone. I'm pretty sure we should be bound, dropping into here. And when that happens, so we're going to have like level on level. There's be a supply here, a supply here. I'm looking right back there. You can see this is like the resistance / trend line over here is landing right in the zone. That's where the short is sitting for Canadian. Okay, so that's what we're looking at now. I'll wait for this level to develop for us a short right here. That's the trade of the week. Well, not the trade of the week, but the trade I'm looking for. Trade of the week is still on the Aussie or Euro. Yeah, Ed, what's up, bro? Gotcha, Eddie. Your mic's on, man. No, don't hear you. I think I muted you by mistake. Let me see. Hold on. Try now, Eddie. Yeah, I got you. Go ahead.
Can you look at the daily on the CD?
CD daily, yes. Hold on. Yeah, go ahead.
You're just still at 78.02. How come you didn't go down to the bottom of the wick?
78.02. You're right. It should be over here. Thank you. Probably moved it one time or something, but yes, that definitely belongs over there.
All right, thanks.
Nope, that's it. Thank you for clearing that up. I appreciate that. But yes, definitely. Right. The proximal is here because this is where price stopped selling off, and the distal belongs here. So thank you. Ready? All right, cool. Next. Let's take a look at copper. Almost done here. So that's the resistance right there. You can see it, right? That's the demand. It's been holding multiple times so far. And now this is decision time here, basically. So the last time we came out of the zone, we got to here. And now we come back to the zone, and do we get through or not, right? So it's decision time. We don't know. Can't tell from this chart. It could turn over and break the bottom, or it could break through the top. Okay, so let's see what the lower time frame is sort of telling us. Okay. Well, there's our daily chart. Right, we've come back to this daily demand zone, rallied up. We confirm the bottom over here. We come to supply, higher low, come back to the level again, and now we start turning around. So this is why it's decision time. Here's the supply. The last time we fell out of that, we got here. And now we got back to the zone. If we start really turning around and come right back to the zone tomorrow, we'll get through this thing, no problem. But if this becomes a base drop, so then we don't know where this is going to stop again. I don't know yet. So still on this chart, can't tell you where it's going. No idea. Okay. Let's take a look on the, oops, I jumped over the 240. Let's go to 240. And what do we see? Well, zoom out a drop. You can see we're back to the top. That's the supply I was just talking about, and we're just flagging. So is this a drop-based drop or a drop-based rally? We can't tell. No idea. All we know is we landed in the air. It looks like we hit some 60 demand. I'm pretty sure there's demand here. We'll see it in a minute. And then we start holding price, right? And we're just flagging around. No idea which way. Well, this is an uptrend. It's higher lows and higher highs, so we should break up. That's what should happen. Doesn't mean it will, but, can't tell yet. So there's nothing going on that we can talk about here. Let's keep going until we find something. Well, no wonder we can't tell what's going on. Look where we are. Here's the demand. Here's the supply. Where's price? Nowhere. It's dead center. There's nothing to talk about here. Is it breaking up? Is it breaking down? Yeah, I'll tell you, when we can get through this, we're going to break up. And we can get through here, we're going to break down. But until that happens, do I know where it's going? No. So what do? Nothing. There's no trade to be had here at all. Leave it alone. Okay, so we're going to watch copper as it makes its way in between these two zones, and it'll decide which way it wants to go. When it knows, then we'll know which way to go. Is it in an uptrend? It is. Do I expect it to break up? Yes. Will it for sure break up? Absolutely not. Nothing is for sure. We don't know. So we'll find out. Okay, we'll leave it alone, and when it starts to move, we'll come back and visit it again. So nothing doing on copper. Next. All right, so I was waiting for this sucker to pop to the top, and does not want to do that at all. As a matter of fact, it just created a breakdown into the air. Not looking good. Look here. Breaking down into the air. Not good. not good at all. So there is no longs over here for soy right now. The trend is flipped on the lower time frame. So if it's going to turn around, we'll talk about it. But for now, we have to think that, you know, this little channel that's going on is going to continue until it catches the demand, because there is just too much air here to risk buying anything. It's just going to be, you know, down $30 in a blink. There's nothing there to stop it from selling off. Okay, so soy not looking strong at all anymore. The trend right here is flipped around. There's the first lower high, then we break down, another lower high. You can see the supply is holding. There's the next supply zone that hasn't been tested yet. And we're still in the air down to some demand over here, a little bit of demand over here. Right, so maybe, you know, you have to be shorting supply zones right now in the downtrend. So there isn't really a long to be had, and we're not near the supply yet. So no trade going on in soy until we get up to 1040 or so. There's a nice little short. You can see what was over there, right? And we start breaking down. So supply is up a little bit higher. Let's take a look at the bond. So open up the 15 chart for a sec. Supply, not so fresh, so that one probably doesn't hold on the way back up if we get there. This one is a lot stronger. And we haven't gotten into that zone. It was prior lows. You can see it back here, back here. So I would say, you know, short soy around 1040-ish. Still not a great trade, but decent. This one was a really big winner for last week. I hope some of you guys took the shorts on the bonds that I was talking about. Went right to our 142 target from last Sunday. We turned over and created a lower high again on the weekly chart, which tells us that this bottom is not a bottom. We're done. We're breaking this. Okay, we're going further. It's not over. So pressure on the bonds, which means more higher interest rates, right? Which means strength in the dollar, right? So that's what we're seeing. Okay, so the demand actually, I'm going to tighten it up a little bit over here because this is really where it's coming from. And that's the target for the week now, 139. Okay, still huge move down for bonds. Very, very nice supply zone sitting over there at 148 and change, right? Almost zero chance we get there. Not this week, but at some point in the future, but not yet. So there's the little bottom of the daily demand that I was talking about. The bottom of the doji candle was our target for last week. We tagged it, clearly creating lower highs. So do we get a small bounce and another lower high? Probably small bounce out of that. And then, you know, a roll over and a break at the bottom is what we're looking for in the bonds. Target for the week is 139. Take a look on the 60. There's the supply zone. Should we get there, go for it, right? And a little bit of demand underneath us would probably get us back to the doji, right? So that's also going to be a supply zone. As we make our way down there, you can take a look at that doji as a supply zone. That's the 60. I have that, I think, drawn on the 15. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I think so. I did. I didn't actually. It's sitting over here. This is the supply right here. Wicks and the leg in right there. So let's put it on the chart. That's it. Chance to join the shorts for a target of 139 on the bonds. Okay. Any questions from anybody else? All right. I'll see you guys, everybody, on Wednesday. Trade safe, trade smart. There isn't a lot of news out this week, so, you know, again, let me just do a quick recap. For the equities, we're looking for things to bounce around until we, you know, a couple of days until we eventually catch the demands and start rallying. Crude, I'm looking for a sell-off. We said into, I believe, 65. Gold, we're looking for a sell-off into 1320, potentially even 1300. Nat gas, small pullback into like this 2720 area for a chance to go long again. Euro is one of the trade of the week on the short, right? For the euro. The yen, we're looking for shorts. The Aussie is trade of the week number 2. We're looking for a short. Pounds also short. Canadian also short. Copper, no trade. Soy, no trade. Bonds, looking for shorts. Everybody have a beautiful weekend. I'll see you guys on Wednesday. Ciao.